Hi everybody, hi from Andrea Unger and Franz, Francesco
Hi
Blacci.
guys, and welcome.
And here we are to discuss what happened last year in trading, because this time we will not focus only on our personal results, but we want to give you a comparison with some of our students. We just finished to find out who won the Trader of the Year contest. So we will be showing you some screenshots of some of the participants. There will be the winner, of course, but not only the top standing, but some we thought could be interesting to share and to discuss about. And then we will see who was better, if the students or the masters. The students were better. Okay, Franz, can you share, please?
Yes.
So, perfect. Let's start immediately with the first equity line. Here it goes. Positive, of course. He would not have participated if not. With roughly 90% return, which is outstanding for sure. Interesting, he started with an affordable capital of about 20K, which is interesting for most of the students because many decide to trade with a similar capital. And he was able to roughly double it. Yes, the ending NAV is a bit higher because he also deposited another 10K somewhere in the year. We don't know when, but we know that Interactive Brokers runs the maths with their algos to determine exactly what happened.
Probably in the last month.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, the result, well, I'm not sure yet, because of that jump, it's most probably, but let's assume it was in the last month. But it's not really important because the 89.90 takes into account, it's a time-weighted return, so they take into account the capital at each day or month in this case. This is a monthly statement. We will talk about this a bit later again. You can see that this student was very, very good on March soybeans account instrument, while he lost money on the November, maybe, I'm not sure. So this could lead you and me and France as well probably think that he was spread trading on grains. It's possible. It was not necessary to determine this at this stage because in spite of the outstanding performance, he was not one of the candidates to the final victory. So there was no necessity to dig a little bit deeper into the matter of what exactly he did during the year. But it's interesting, and we'll probably try to talk to this guy in the future. Maybe we find out something interesting of his activity. Apart from that, micro Nasdaq is there as one of the best performers, while feeder cattle is one of the main losers. Same occurred to me. I will show you later. I'm a bit angry because of a good performance on soybeans, but you will find out later why. But this is it. I mean, 12% drawdown, very good. This is the second in list, second in our choices, not in any standing. Very similar performance, very, very similar, very close. You can see 91, it was 89, 91 is the same. Also, the starting capital is more or less 20K, which is again the same. A bit worse drawdown with 17, it was 12 in the latter case. In this case, it's interesting because this guy or girl, I don't remember if it's a he or a she, diversified very much in terms of instruments. You can see micro Nasdaq, micro gold, and also micro copper. I don't like copper personally. I don't like, my systems don't like copper. I created the system, so I don't like copper. But I can tell you that since copper also offers the micro version, it gained a lot of interest among our students. We find many candidates, not only among the Trader of the Year contest, but also in the Trader of the Month, of people trading micro copper, which is interesting and curious maybe, but In this case, he wasn't lucky because he lost money on copper, confirming my dislike of this instrument. This was this guy. Another guy who is certainly interesting is this one. In this case, he sent a daily report, and you can immediately recognize that from the different shape of the equity line, so a much deeper detail. But instead of this, you get a very great performance of 50%, which is smaller than the other one, but still incredible, of course. 15% drawdown. The capital in this case is higher, much higher. Yes, roughly 160K as a starting capital, which is obviously different size, of course. But why do we show this? Because it's good, of course, but because you can see it here below, his performance was mostly, if not only, on the stock market, on the Nasdaq 100 stocks. This guy comes from Germany. In Germany, there are some laws, fiscal laws, tax laws that make it difficult to trade efficiently on futures. So he decided to trade on stocks, and he applied the Unger method on the stock market. And I believe, because he, in the past, won also some Trader of the Month contests in the past. I think you spoke to this guy in the past, Franz.
Correct. I remember he was a very talented guy, very passionate about trading, and he was able to manage the problems of the tax regulation, and he started to experiment with the Unger method on stocks, and he was able to create a personal Unger method, okay, in some different underlying, because when I trade the stocks, I usually trade it on a daily basis. Instead, this guy was able to trade in intraday with the Unger method on stocks, and it is a very different approach from the standard approach on stocks, we can say. And I think this could be an interesting point to deep dive in the future, Andrea, to
yeah, for sure. I can tell you that when Franz talked to me about his interview with a guy, and when we both spoke to him, when he detailed a little bit more about his method, I was sort of skeptical, because I thought he was a bit overfitting, maybe, because he was choosing the best long performance, the best short performance, trying to adapt then the systems depending on their response to the up or down trend. I thought that was a bit too much, in my opinion. Of course, he had 100 stocks or less to trade, but a lot, so he had to filter, of course. And I had doubts for his coming performance. My doubts were completely crazy, because he showed us that he did very, very well. So his approach was absolutely fine, and my doubts vanished. I mean, more than this he could not do to demonstrate that he was right and I was in the wrong position in that case. In any case, I wanted, as you mentioned, have a deeper look into this. Problem is that we have so many things to do that we have not had time yet to fully dedicate to this matter, but we will try. Maybe 2025 is the right year to work on the stock market as well with the Unger method. And this is our friend on the stock market, but here comes the winner, the annual contest winner. And I mean, when you see the performance of 219.85%, you might have no doubt that he for sure is the winner, not only for this, but also because this guy started with an important capital of about 70,000, 70K, 100 beginning plus a deposit of 69,100 is about 70,000, and he more than doubled, 219%. You can run the math on yourself. What happened? Why are we showing two graphs? Not because he had two accounts and they achieved exactly the same return. No, when we saw that he was leading the competition, but we work on different parameters, return of risk, capital, and then a global evaluation of the activity. And we wanted to have a deeper detail about his drawdown because of the monthly chart. This is not possible to see, of course. And the guy sent us the daily chart here below. And you see immediately, return is obviously the same, but the drawdown, the first case was 15, in the second, 32. So it doubled. I mean, the drawdown is the same, but the reading of a different reporting doubled the result. This means that on a daily basis, obviously, you can deeper look into it. In spite of this, the ratio between return and drawdown was above 6, which was the second best, I believe, Franz.
Yeah, the second one.
The second best. And so, I mean, there was no doubt that he, considering all the parameters that we take into consideration, was the winner. So congratulations to David. And funny that you see that the worst return above is 15%, minus 15, and in the more detailed chart, minus 10%. This is obviously not because we say this is more severe, so you see worse results. In reality, this 10%, 11, we say, is on a daily basis, while 15 was on a monthly basis. So obviously, it is much, much worse in terms of risk and heartbreak of the competitor.
And also, he was able to diversify his portfolio.
Yes, he worked on different futures. You see NASDAQ, crude oil, gold, mini S&P, of course, but also I see here 2 VIX futures. Yeah. Maybe he opened some spread trading as we describe in the volatility section of our material.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Maybe, or he has systems of the fixed future, maybe as well. But we will talk to him one of these days, so we will discover a bit more about his activity. Who for sure opened the spreads on the fixed future and traded volatility is our Franz. And here he comes. This is yours. I'll let you talk about that.
𝐼 account, yes, correct. So I basically trade volatility because I traded options and volatility derivatives, so VXX and VIX spreads, but mainly options on SPX and sometimes on the NASDAQ. And this was my return, 45%. It's more than expected because I usually try to achieve something between 20 and 30%, trying to I'm more focused on the risk side. Okay, so if you want more, you have to risk more. So passing the years, I'm more than happy with the return between 20 and 30%. But this year was special, we can say. There was a very big run-up in the month of November. Probably due to the American elections, because if you take a look at the equity line of the account, the blue one, it seems to me that because of the elections, volatility and time were not paid in the option strategies. It's like how we can explain this, Andrea?
Like we were compelled to stay blocked until things were clear.
Inside the strategy, and then after the result of the election come out, everything started to go out from the strategy.
And this happens more or less every 4 years.
Every 4 years during
you see the volatility forward curve, which has a particular shape.
Yeah, there is a sort of high yield, we can say high yield during the period of the election. And I remember that also 4 years ago, I had some problems, some difficulties trading option and volatility before the election. But immediately after the election, so the market giving back everything
with interest in this case.
It was a nice month, I can say. And that's it. The drawdown is not a 5%, I have to admit, because on a daily basis is about 12%.
Yeah, we again still twice as much as the monthly basis. On options, it's less important to show daily because options are more regular rather than futures. But in any case, also Franz stated that drawdown on a daily basis is more severe than on monthly, clearly. And very well done, I must admit. And once again, Franz just playing on one sector, volatility, because options embrace volatility. He did better than me because first, one thing. I mixed on my account of Interactive Brokers futures and systems of futures and options, the same trading style as Franz. Of course, my performance on options was not as good as Franz, mostly because I trade smaller compared to him because of his experience, of course, and his knowledge. And then I'm approaching to that. I'm trying also to change the risk profile with the years, the age increasing, as he mentioned. And it's a matter of fact, becoming older, you become quieter. And this is what I do as well. But I can tell you, I achieved roughly something less than 24% on that account. I did much better on my banking account, where I have the asset allocation on ETFs, and this was actually a year for asset allocation because you do nothing, you just invest in it and wait, and you get performance. This is what would have happened in 2024. The problem is that you never know that in advance, so you know it only after. But in any case, I'm not showing you my bank account, of course. I'm not showing the Interactive Brokers account because it mixed. I want to focus on futures. Because futures were, I must say, in my opinion, disappointing. This is what I was able to extrapolate from my performance through my software Zeus only on the systems on futures that I traded. The equity line is not bad after all, but if you look at the number here, you see a 10% more or less. In reality, it's 9 because the red spot there indicates the portion of run-up, which I obviously missed because it was after Christmas and I switched everything off as usual. And so I missed that, of course, it's a run-up clearly. So it was about 9.3 if I remember well the maths, but it's approximate, of course. So obviously it's disappointing. I achieved roughly 24, which is 23.97, something like that. So more than half of that was on options, and Franz confirmed we use the same strategies. I just go slower. It was a good year for options. I had a similar equity on options as Franz, confirming that November was a very good month to release all the potential of a profit. But on the systems of futures, I was missing something. And I say I was missing something because the people that we saw before on the Trader of the Year, they did very well. And they were trading systems on futures with the Unger method. I mean, they are telling me that it was a great year for systems for them. For me, with my older systems, I didn't dedicate enough time to development of new stuff and so on. So obviously, I'm relying on too much sometimes on what in my computers already. I didn't come out very well because 9%, 9 something is disappointing. But again, there are years for asset allocations like this one, years for options because very good year for options. But there are years for system trading. So maybe you remember 2022, asset allocation was a disaster. Yeah. And system did well. So in my opinion, the best thing to do is always to diversify as much as possible. Just to dig a bit deeper into future, because when things go wrong, we want to see what went wrong. I will show you what did worse in my trading year. And systems on grains, soybeans especially. That's why I was angry with the guy making money on soybeans. You can see that soybeans was going nowhere, then started losing. All of a sudden, it showed vitality again. Oh, we're back. And then it lost everything and took even more out of my pockets. It happens. I'm not happy about that because soybeans has always been a good instrument to trade. starting to 2015, it had some years of trouble, and then it started again to boost performance. This year was very bad, and I paid the consequences of this turn. Grays are not the only loser in my year, of course. Also 𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐠. Here you can see a period of nothing in the beginning. Actually, the quiet period is because some systems were waiting to be switched on after incubation on the in-sample, out-of-sample rules I use on 𝐻𝐾𝐫. This is 𝐻𝐾𝐫. And the problem here with 𝐻𝐾𝐫, the fact, because obviously all the performance that you saw has been produced by other instruments, index futures and gold, crude oil as well. So I mean, I show you the bad part because it's from the mistakes that we learn something. On 𝐻𝐾𝐫, you keep systems until they are killed. So it's not like Titan where you switch on, switch off depending on the performance. When they're doing not too bad, they're still there trading. When they exceed a certain threshold of losses that you can put in your system, of course, it's one of the input, they are killed and they work no more. In this case, 𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐠 continue working to the end and they lost money. And they lost, I mean, 2.5% is a lot of money, considering they made about 9%. So imagine how much they took out. And 𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐠 are a small portion, actually, because I don't have 20 systems of 𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐠. I have some feeder catcher, some live catcher, some lean hogs, but not 20 no total, while I have many more on the other markets. But they did bad enough to be one of the worst performer of the year. And another disappointing performer is the sector of bonds. Bonds, especially the 30 years bond, the American 30-year bond, did well in the first part, well enough, I mean, decent performance. Then all of a sudden, in autumn, there was the fall of bonds, okay, let's forget about that. There was this disaster on the performance of the systems. Maybe it's due to the new monetary policy. I don't know. I mean, the point is that these systems are all pretty old. They made money in the past. They trade long and short. They did always most of the money on long trades, of course, but they produced something also, even if not outstanding, on short in the bad period for bonds a couple of years ago. And here they were not able to respond to what was going on in the markets. It's a pity because bonds are an important part of what I trade. And I was really disappointed seeing that the performance was that bad in this case. I said totally about 24%, which is about 50% of what Franz achieved. I believe that he traded aggressively depending on my benchmark. So he tweaks his risk profile depending on the level he needs to achieve to beat me every year. And he's accustomed to that now, and so he wants to keep on the good stream.
The last year you won.
Yeah, once in a lifetime. That's the exception that confirms the rule. So Franz is a much better trader than I am. And to tell the truth, he is really, because I believe that your knowledge about volatility options is outstanding. It's great. And there is a deep knowledge on those markets, a deep knowledge maturated with years of application. And this is something that really matters in that kind of trading, because we have rules. It's very simple. The method that you use, which is in the OPT Formula Master, is simple from one point of view, because you just have to place a certain type of trades, nothing special. But the way that a skilled trader is able to manage it and personalize it is the key, in my opinion, to succeed.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrea.
No, it's not a compliment. It's something that I could acknowledge. I could appreciate working with you every day, and I see his knowledge. Franz is able to immediately identify something that is wrong. I mean, if I show a structure or something, look at this. Oh, that can't be. It's wrong. And obviously, he's always right. And I must admit that I started hating him very much.
Thank you, Andrea.
So we are just kidding, of course.
We can also add that this year was a crypto year, we can say.
Oh, yes.
To summarize the outcome of the year, so crypto had a very good, very big run up, especially my static portfolio on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and all.
Classic cryptos, yeah.
But there were also interesting opportunities in the cash and carry strategy because I was able to realize more than 25% on an annual basis. Okay, so more or less 18% total return. Trading with cash and carry strategy.
Which is trading is a big word. You just open a trade and you wait for it to end.
A sort of arbitrage. And the only risk that you have is having the money on the exchanges.
Yeah, of course. That's the risk that keeps me a bit from exaggerating on cryptos, because there are great opportunities, it's true, but to put too much money there is something that frightens me a little bit.
Yeah. And also was the annual the year of the meme coin,
Yeah, the meme coin is crazy. I mean, I have also some investments in crypto. They are all doing so poorly. And when I see the meme dog something doing 10,000%, 10, why? It's incredible, really.
Yeah, but we don't trade this kind of.
That's not trading, that's gambling. I mean, I'm tempted to put some pennies there just to see what happens. And I bought some Trump coins at the all-time high, of course. Just really a cheap, nothing special, just to play a bit. If it turns 1,000 pair, it will not change my life because it's so small that I will not become a millionaire in any case. And okay, well, guys, I think we mentioned everything that would matter about trading in 2024. Again, congratulations to our Trade of the Year contestants. They did very well. They did better than us, Franz. At least I can say that they were better than you. So the students were better than the masters, as usual, especially when we are the masters. And we keep on trying to do our best. So we meet next occasion to talk about what happens on the markets. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, guys.